Are you ready to retire, but you're worried about the what ifs and the potential for blind spots that come along with making this leap of faith? If so, you're not alone. In a recent survey conducted by Live Career, they found that 61% of respondents were more afraid of retirement than death. That's pretty scary. Hey everyone, Gabe Galanti here, fiduciary financial advisor, CEO and owner of Rockline Wealth Management. Over the last 12 years, I've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of clients on their retirement plans. And today, I'm going to talk about some of the top regrets and things that our clients wish they knew prior to retirement. In addition to that, I'm also going to go over some of the things that we've seen help prepare clients to make the major shift into retirement. And make sure to listen to the end, where I share an insight that I think is crucial in helping find answers to this predicament. So let's jump right in and talk about the first thing that we hear people wish they knew before retirement. For this one, I'm going to ask that we take a trip down memory lane back to the beginning of your career. It might be safe to say that most people are not experiencing their peak earning years when they start off in the workforce. With that, paying the bills, especially if you've made the leap of faith into owning your own home or even renting an apartment, might make cash flow pretty tight. You might have even thought that retirement was so far down the road at that point that it wasn't even worth thinking about or considering planning for. This brings me to my first point. And something I hear so often is that pre-retirees wish that they had started taking saving for retirement more seriously earlier in their career. Totally understandable when retirement seems so far off, but we do our best to encourage and motivate those that we work with to start saving early and often, even if it's just minor contributions. The second thing that we hear from pre-retirees regarding a regret prior to retirement is something that might shock you, or you might actually have felt it or thought about it yourself. In this instance, I want to talk about someone that I consider to be pretty famous, Bruce Lee. Bruce starred in multiple martial arts films over the course of his lifetime and even created a type of martial arts known as Jeet Kune Do. Although Bruce was very well known for his hand-to-hand combat, over time his philosophy seemed to change a bit and he started preaching about being like water. The crux of his point was to be flexible and to limit resistance, which would result in you reaching your goals in a most efficient manner, which is my second point. Resistance to retirement can come in many forms, but arguably one of the worst comes in the forms of high interest debt. Paying off all high interest debt, in addition to paying off any loans that may be affiliated with your corporate retirement plan through the workplace, might have a significant impact on your overall health of your plan. The third point that I want to talk about is not only one that I feel is tremendously important, but also might actually allow for a little bit of fun in your pre-retirement planning. Here, I want to bring us back several hundred years to the time of the Pilgrim's voyage overseas. As you know, in 1620, the Pilgrims boarded the Mayflower to come across in search of new beginnings. After an arduous trek, they eventually landed in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. They then set out on a journey to explore in hopes of finding and settling a new land. After about a month of navigating the area and many interactions with the natives, they decided that ultimately the best place to settle would be Plymouth. You're probably wondering at this point where in the heck I'm going with this, and I'm going to tell you. My third point is to fully explore, experience, and understand any place that you think you might relocate in retirement. We've seen more recently, actually, that many pre-retirees, or even those that are newly retired, might go and rent in multiple locations over the course of time to fully understand the environment that they might end up in. Either way, having a solid feel and understanding for a place that you might consider relocating for the rest of your life is something that could be a meaningful decision. This next point is one that I feel is most important to hear and to learn from. For this, I would like to talk about Aesop's fable, The Ant and the Grasshopper. For those of you who are not familiar, it involves a story of an ant who worked very hard through very tough times to gather food in preparation for a long winter. It also involves a grasshopper who mocked the ant and instead of gathering food for the winter, decided to dance around and neglect the importance of planning for the future. As you might assume, the winter did eventually come and the ant was more than prepared in his nest. The grasshopper, on the other hand, unfortunately did not prepare and faced hardship, but was eventually bailed out by the ant. This brings me to the next point. In addition to wishing they saved earlier in their careers, pre-retirees often say that they wish they saved more throughout their working time. One way that you might want to keep in mind that you can potentially achieve this is by contributing to your employer plan, and if you're over the age of 50, additionally adding for the catch-up contribution. If retirement is on your radar at all, please make sure to catch up on our next video, Planning to Retire Early, here.